p.m. Do the roll. Mike Jones here, Diane Sanders here, Nancy Graves is here, Kelly Byrne is here, Jerry Larkin is here, Nancy Mello is not, Donna Edwards is not, Dennis Wilbon is not.
So anyway, we did through the casino, we did a 12-day cruise of the Mediterranean. That was free, yes.
Wow. I have it.
And to come
She
home,
goes to the casino like once a month, once a week.
And you want a cruise?
I've won at least 7 of them.
7 cruises?
Yeah. But yesterday
Why
I
don't
just,
you win one for me? I don't really
Why
like
don't we go to
casinos,
the
but-
casino later?
yeah, we did a 12-day cruise of the Mediterranean
For free.
for free. We go
Is
inside
everybody
Paris.
with a cruise that goes there?
Well, put it this way, my daughter got jealous of us doing that.
You can't find it.
Asked her father to get her, we took it to the casino, she got her card. She gave the card to her father because they live in
Due
New
to a
Hampshire.
typo?
She didn't even have the
No, let's
card
just see, you got
4
a question
months.
about who would,
And she got
made the motion to
the
approve.
flyer in the mail telling her she had a free cruise.
Never mind. So March 4th is one typo.
And she's gotten it twice. She's gotten 2 free cruises.
All right. Does anybody
I'll
have
stop
any-
talking
so
about cruises.
The agenda, I know you are. The agenda has the approval of minutes from 8 previous meetings. March 4th, June 3rd, June 17th, September 2nd, October 7th, 21st, 28th, and November 18th.
It sounds like the June 17 does need approval.
June 17th is on the list.
Yeah.
Is there any changes, corrections, additions, subtractions on any of the
So the,
minutes?
from the draft that he has put online, is that the same draft that we previously reviewed?
Have you already approved any of these?
The minutes, we did approve June 3. We approved March 4. June 17, we have not approved,
All right,
evidently. We have approved September 2. We need to approve October 7. And October 28 needs approval.
Do you have all of these minutes, Mike? I mean, I don't have March 4th.
And
March
November
4.
18
I don't
needs
have
approval.
June 3rd. I have June 17th.
April.
I'm going to suggest that we move to postpone the approval of minutes until the next meeting.
Okay.
We have
We'll
an
go
opportunity
through
to
it.
review
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, and he said he would bring 5 copies.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I feel better doing that rather than trying to rush and scramble
Do I
and
have to second it?
We can make it.
a motion to defer approval of the minutes listed on the agenda until the next meeting,
Which is when?
December 2nd.
Okay. I second it.
Diane and Nancy seconds, all in favor?
Yes, what do you think? I'm not going to be the odd man.
Okay, general administrative updates and items and updates. So we do have one more meeting scheduled, December 2nd, 6 p.m. at this location. And we'll be moving all these minutes into that meeting, so between now and then, we'll hope that it'll either recirculate them
Yep.
or Rob will put them out in a bunch.
Yeah.
So that we'll have an opportunity to go over them. And I guess I could, well, if you didn't, I don't know, Nancy, you, Jerry, and Diane had an opportunity to see the town council thing last night. Ellie, I don't know if you did the...
Let's see, what was I doing last night?
all right,
Which
well,
child? I couldn't tell you what I was doing last night.
I
It might have
went
been
before them
babysitting.
and made a presentation on our progress to date.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned that at the last meeting, so I knew you were going to be there. I just,
And overall,
If you want, I'll watch it.
you don't have to watch it. I'm just
No,
gonna
I
give you the
just,
update.
I'll make you happy and I'll watch it. I'll
you
just
won't wanna
fast
watch
forward to
You
the
think that's all
very
it takes to
end.
make me happy?
1 minute and
That's a
23.
lot more than that.
1 minute.
1 hour and 23 minutes.
I'll
And
fast
it
forward.
lasted till 1 hour and 45. So if you just watch the last
Last 20 minutes, all
yes,
right.
Yeah.
you
Okay,
will catch
I'll fast forward
our
it.
chair. And Jerry was there, but he was not visible.
You hiding, Jerry?
What? I was not what?
Visible.
Oh, no. I was actually, I was sort of hiding from some of them.
And the important thing is that, I guess, our chair Michael made it clear that whatever he was saying was just bringing them up to date, but it was not our final, we have not.
Yeah, finalize what we're going to, yeah.
Right. And they said the next meeting we could go there was the 8th, I believe,
January.
of January?
December 8th?
December.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
I'm
understood it
sorry.
to be December.
I'm thinking of,
The 8th of December, even though
It's a week from Monday.
our term has expired.
yeah.
We can go there with no authority.
Well, I mean, so first of all, we have no authority whatsoever anyway by
Yeah.
by the decision of the solicitor. The only thing actually our term expiration truly affects is we are no longer bound by the open meetings law. I'm not a lawyer, but I truly, and actually you are. So I truly believe that actually the only thing that happens. We could meet as much as we want after that. We can send things to the council as much as we want. We can send them to the council and they can do whatever they want with them because that's their purview, is that they are allowed to do whatever they want with whatever we send them.
Go with public input and.
So it cuts both ways, actually, if you think about it. They don't have to listen to, it's clear that they don't have to listen to us by the advice, on the
Right.
advice of the solicitor. And
On an erroneous case.
well, I think that it is a violation of the spirit of the charter, in my
I
view.
do too.
In my view, doesn't count either until I get into a ballot box, right? So, I think it's a clear violation of the charter itself, at least, again, the spirit of the charter. Because and I'll even go further, is that in things like access to the ballot
Yeah.
and or, capacity for newly elected bodies to fulfill, what a document is written to accomplish, you're supposed to actually interpret on the side of the people who are seeking access to the ballot and
Yep.
or, actualizing the spirit of the document.
Make it easier.
It's the you would have to take the solicitor or the town to court, which actually is another, it's an additional burden. It is in fact, well, I'm getting really broad here. It's kind of like regulatory capture in that if the council is the sole arbiter of the recommendations we make, because those recommendations inevitably have a direct impact on the council, they're conflicted. And so,
Agree, conflict of interest.
yeah, so it is, I think even by that line of argument, you would also say the solicitor is probably wrong,
Yep.
but you'd have to litigate it.
Yep.
And that, again,
Someday we
puts
really should.
another burden on
Yeah.
all of us. We don't have any funding,
No.
et cetera. And in terms of, you could also argue the solicitor himself is conflicted, and that actually our standing as elected officials of the town probably imposes a burden on the town to provide us with funding for our own legal counsel.
And they wouldn't do it to us 4 years ago. We asked for it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
so-
give it to us.
It's a hell of a Health department have attorneys?
Oh, yeah, we've got plenty of attorneys, but I don't think I can direct
Let's leave it out.
their work towards this issue.
Okay, item 4, acknowledgement of potential discussion of received and potential new proposed charter changes, including public input.
Mike, sorry, can I back up for a minute?
Yeah.
So do we have a plan on how we are preparing for December 8th?
Yeah,
Or
right.
do we want to discuss that further down?
I think we can discuss it further down, because
Okay.
at some point, we're going to have to
'Cause I'm worried about
prepare
that
our
timeline.
proposals. Yes, I know,
Yeah.
we're going to need to prepare our proposals either tonight or individually before next meeting and present it at the meeting so that we can then
On
have
the
the
second, we
opportunity
need,
to,
yeah.
yeah, to get everybody on board, and then the proposal, we have the benefit, at least, of presenting a concept. We don't have to go to the extreme of having to formulate the language. That would be upon
Yeah,
them.
but just
Yeah.
make it, tell everybody, the meeting on December 2nd is going to be a long meeting. We have things that need to get done, and they have to be done before we go to the 8th.
So yeah, I would suggest that what we do is each take a given area and try and wordsmith it between now and then. And that we can, I believe, share that as backup for our meeting
Yes.
between now and the 2nd, so people can have an opportunity to review it. And then, everybody comes with that, and we then just kind of work through all of the concept, verbiage, and then that goes to, and that goes to the council, and they choose to take it up or not.
Right.
So if we do, would we need to get anything to them prior to the 8th?
They would want it.
They would like to see to have the documents in their packet. I'm sure.
And they have a full year to consider it, so they don't have
Yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm.
And that, right, they talked about, yesterday they were talking about, if you heard the
A full year. Yeah.
public input, 7
7 or 8
meetings,
months.
those opportunities, and that would probably not happen till January at the soonest. But for us to do that, I like the concept of, assigning out the different topics, because whatever I had yesterday, there was 7 or 8 items, and whatever we discussed tonight.
Yeah, and probably in doing that, what I would do is that you start out with saying, this is section X, Y, or Z of the charter, and on page blank, sort of the purpose, and then the concept.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good. Then, I'm going to ask a question, but while I still think about it, have you heard anything from the Harbor Commission? Okay, they were the one group that they had expressed some interest, I guess.
Right.
So they're not here. They haven't reached out, and we'll proceed on to now we'll actually go to 5. And I think maybe the thing to do tonight, unless everybody wants to discuss the budget process and how we're going to put that concept together, which, I don't know, maybe that's what we want to do. But the other thought is that we go through the items that we have agreed to, that we're going to put forward, and we'll figure out the framework, have somebody assigned as the author, and move that forward. Would you prefer to discuss the budget process with the 5 of us?
Didn't we move a motion?
We did, and that was what we presented, but we never finalized what would happen to get which actually could be part of the concept. I'm just thinking the school committee, the
Well,
town
that's why I
council,
said
and the electors.
I mailed all of you that 2018
Proposal.
charter, that
Oh, yeah.
how they handled that question, the budget committee, what its job was, and then the town council and the school committee.
That was pretty cool. I can't say that I voted for the change at the time. time. Okay, then let me get that.
So how would you handle I guess your document sheet that you've been sending us up to explain, it would indicate where things like qualifications for people, for the personnel. It appears several, wherever that appears.
Yeah, I think we do have a note somewhere that, that language should be used. We had put a note on the document that we were working from. This language should be used for any other position in the charter that lists qualifications.
Okay, and that's probably sufficient, or should we make an effort to go through? I would go through and say such as, and name them.
I don't know. I think that should be part of their overall cleanup on typos, and that's my thinking.
So,
I don't know. I mean, I guess we could, but I'm just thinking if with everything else that we have to do, is that the most important?
No, but it probably
Priority.
wouldn't take that long to also see.
Okay.
But anyway, we can.
All right, no, if you know, that-
so the topics that I mentioned last night, I'll just tick them off and
Yeah.
we can make sure that I haven't missed any
Yeah.
by going through the sheet quick, was changing the council from 2 to 4 years. Is there anybody that's interested in that wordsmith opportunity?
So, I mean, I'd be glad to do it. I have a question. That means that this election coming up, we're gonna break it up into 4
Top
and
4
3.
vote getters would remain in office and 3 positions would be up for vote for election.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Top four vote getters from 2024 will remain in office.
Or not, or just the top vote getters will be in office.
Yes.
I mean, may not be.
And the only 3 positions available would be the 3 lower vote getters would be back in the election.
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah, so basically the top vote getters in 2028 would serve a 4-year term. The 3 lowest vote getters would serve a 2-year term.
That's how it
And
works,
then
okay.
they would
So-
then in 2030, there would be 3 open seats for another 4-year term. I'm happy to take that if somebody wants to do it. Nobody else
So
wants to.
top 4-year term, bottom 3 2-year term. But
And
then
then
when
there-
they're up for vote,
And then in
that
2028, there would
they
be
become the 4.
there would be 3 open seats for, I mean, open meaning there'd be 3 seats for election in 2030. Now, what are we? 228.
A 4-year term.
Sorry. So the next
2026.
election is 2026.
Six.
7 people run, hopefully more than that. Hopefully 21 people run. And the 4 top voters in that election are elected to a 4-year term.
Correct.
The 3 bottom are elected to a 2-year term. Then in 2028,
Yeah.
There are 3 places up
there
for
are
grabs.
3 seats up for election who are then elected to a 4-year term.
Okay.
And then
I see.
it
just
follows
keeps doing that
thereafter.
kind of stuff. Okay, all right.
Do you want to take that or you want me to take that? I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, you take it.
I'll take it. Okay.
All right, so Jerry has that one. The next item I discussed was changing the town treasurer from elected to appointed position. If there's nobody that wants that. I
Now,
just-
is that from appointed to, are we starting something like
No,
that?
you said from a-
With the purpose of why we're doing this?
Well, on the sheet that we had, we did discuss the rationale or justification,
Yep,
and we had briefly put down to ensure candidates have the appropriate skills and experience.
okay.
So it's going from an elected to a appointed.
So they have to interview and be appointed.
And as I was discussing it last night, I mentioned that it would have a parallel reporting structure to the council and the administrator. But the caveat I also raised a number of times is these were discussions that we've had. These are not necessarily the final
And it would
recommendations.
parallel to budget committee and town administrator. Is that what you said?
Town council and town administrator.
Oh, okay.
We put down the treasurer will report to the town administrator and has a separate ability to report directly to the town council free of interference.
So whenever,
Okay.
if whoever chooses to do this, will want to refer back and just look at these
Yeah.
minutes.
I'll do this one if you want.
Okay, I'm going to give that to you, Nancy. And next was the changes on the zoning board to reflect changes proposed by the town solicitor reflecting the unified development review process. Mostly that's already done by Mike. He had his proposals, discussions on that.
Which one is that? I'm sorry.
It's revise the zoning board of review to reflect
that's
changes
right.
proposed by the town solicitor reflecting the unified development review process.
Yep. And you're saying Marcel basically had the words for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we basically present that and let them take over.
Okay.
He's gonna wordsmith that for us. The next item I discussed was adding a town planner.
Was anyone aware, did you watch this? Were you aware of watching little Denise?
During some of it, yeah.
Oh,
And
my
also,
goodness. She just kept looking
yeah,
like,
there were some members you could see their level
Horror.
of unease
Oh,
with,
absolutely.
yeah.
They're not interested in giving up any power,
yeah.
which frankly argues the point whether or not it should be a 4-year term or not. But I think the issue is that you need to replace those council. You need to replace this council.
What'd you say?
So regarding the town's planner, is our assumption that it would be
Yes, some
just
of
part
them have
of
been there
the
just.
planning board section,
I
or
can tell you exactly how to work.
wouldn't it have to be like a separate section
Some
in
not
the
so
charter?
long, they just don't
Like
want the hell they
the
Like the
town-
treasurer
yeah,
and the other.
exactly, yeah.
I think that I think as we discussed it, that was one of the discussion points during that particular meeting or meetings. How the planner would be,
Is
what the
relative.
reporting structure would be.
Yeah.
And I think it would be similar to a department head in that she'd be reporting to the town administrator, but she'd be working with and currently works with the planning board. It might be easier to afford them the opportunity to take the planning board input on how they felt that needed to be structured. In the public comment period when we have a present, a joint presentation to the public. If we feel strongly that we want to develop a structure, then we
Are
can.
we going to have a joint presentation?
I'll be presenting to them on the 8th, and at some point subsequent after the first of the year, they're going to have a
Public hearing?
Yeah.
But are they going to invite us to be part of it?
It's being applied, yeah.
Good.
There'll be, well, who knows? It could get to the point that they throw out everything that we do and they choose a whole new tact. It might not be necessary for us to be there other than to corrupt from the audience.
Want to run for town council, Jerry?
So, does anybody want to grab the planner?
Why we need a town planner? Sure. I'll do that one.
Okay. And again, if you, can you access the Google Sheet with all this information? It's a computer program.
No shit, Sherlock. Whoops. You have to erase what I just said, right?
He can't, he's paid to record it.
No ship?
The ship, that's right. I said ship,
Yeah.
because we were
I
talking
thought
about
that's-
cruises.
Yeah. That's what I
You're gonna be
thought
on a
you
ship.
said.
Okay, so I'll leave, got that. And if you, when you get to the point where you look at the computer, you might have some insights there that you may find valuable.
Yes, my laptop is right next to the couch
On the ship.
on the ship.
Okay. Next item is to revise the budget process. To complete budget development timeline before the June 1st deadline for the schools. Anybody feeling that one? This is, the next one is going to be, I might as well just give it to you now, the next one, Jerry.
What's the next one?
The next one's
Grabbing the power
changing
and
the,
moving it.
changing the role of the budget committee to present the
Okay.
increased
I will-
oversight
I
of the
will
budget
take that
process
one.
within the town and the factors impacting the budget.
But wouldn't that be, what, this,
I mean,
but the
it's all
budget
lumped
processing and
together.
the,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be in essence all together?
Timeline, well, the timeline can
No,
be
it could be
separate.
separate.
But
gonna
that
say bifurcate.
section about
I
the
was gonna say
timeline though,
bifurcate.
it references the current process, so
So-
it needs to be adjusted.
So how you actually craft what goes before the voters, you know, is after they adopt the concept, the solicitor would do that, or somebody would do that. I would do it for them if they wanted me to, they won't. But I think you can separate out changing the calendar from changing the authority of the budget committee.
So
Just
is
to ask-
it advised, could we use the language that I sort of sent you all from the 2018 charter? Did you get that?
No, I don't think so, I did.
I sent you an email I came across, I copied the
did
language
you?
that was in
I need
the
that.
prior charter before
This
the
one,
town
right?
council took it up. So it'd be from me. Last week.
Oh, I did,
So-
I did.
Diane, to your point, I think it depends on what they wind up adopting. If they say, we have no interest in doing anything about the budget committee,
Jerry, Nancy
No.
sent,
then you don't need to
Oh,
worry
there
about
it
it.
is.
yeah, she sent this.
They, on the other hand,
But I guess
That was from
my
the
wonder
2018
Yeah.
charter.
is our
Before they
only
amended it.
recommendation that we revert back to something that didn't work previously and that voters didn't like? Or conceptually, do we offer another option? So if the concept is that an adjustment should be made for increased public input to the budget process, then do we offer options such as reverting back to the previous process? Or is there an interim piece that we could offer? I just feel just to say, let's just go back to the way it was. That's our
Well,
recommendation.
But the vote was that we took,
yeah,
that we voted for,
I
was to
understand.
have the budget committee be the first, be the docket.
Present the budget.
But their perception is, and everyone else's perception is that this committee is just saying, let's just go back to the way it was.
But we
I
really
wouldn't
aren't
put
going
it
back
that
to the
way.
way it was. Yes, we're taking the idea the way it was, but we're modernizing it. We're going to.
We're moving
cha-
dates up,
Yes,
or-
moving dates, we're changing a few things.
But dates
Giving them a little
doesn't
more-
change the group that has the authority to vote on the budget.
right, so there's two different things. So one is modifying the calendar, and that really is.
Right, and I think that's fairly agreeable and,
Well, who knows what they're gonna think, but
yeah.
but it is really independent of anything else, and it's really just to be able to furnish a budget to the town, an approved budget to the town, that then allows the school district to fulfill the statutory requirements of laying off people if they need to before June 1st. So that's something different. The motion that was voted last week was yes to place the authority for the adoption of the unified budget back with the budget committee, which is, you can interpret as being going back to the old way of doing it. I would argue against that, but someone will try and shape the message that way, because it's also to give them more fulsome authority to forecast for the town, as well as a instruction to be more reasonably early on.
And actually also expanding their.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's more authority to give forecasting for the town,
Right.
predicting.
Which I think is huge.
So that's the other thing. Now, can you also, and there's no reason why you can't put concepts which might, if they were both adopted, be contradictory, but you can give them options as well. We could fashion a different concept of what we think they should do with the budget committee or the adoption of that unified budget. And they could take that up. They could take, again, they are, on the interpretation of the solicitor, they can take up whatever they want of what we send them. And so if you wanted to give them a different, an alternative way of changing the function of the budget committee, we can do that too. We just haven't done that.
Right.
So we could. And then, again, you'd have to sort of like
But that
write
wasn't
out
our
the
vote.
Our vote, no, that wasn't our vote, but we can adopt, we can say, I'm trying to give an example. So you can say, we want the treasurer to be appointed. You could also say, if you're not going to do that, here's another thing you could do about the treasurer. We could say, we want the treasurer to serve for 6 years, so that they have more time in the job. I'm just not,
Right,
So-
a
so-
different vote.
correct. And they can take one up, and they can take the other one up. They could not take any of it up. It's, and they can also, by their the ability that they can put things on themselves, which they
Right,
have
we
done.
haven't
They
discussed
can do
that
that.
either. So the concept of what we voted on doesn't include the details. With what Nancy sent, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it, it kind of lays the duties and responsibilities out of the budget committee under that.
From the old charter, you mean, or?
Yeah,
is
that was
something
from the
else?
old charter.
That was from the old charter, yep.
So, and that could be the verbiage that is ultimately, what's in the charter or what is before the voters is related to, but not necessarily what we're going to give to the council. We're giving them concepts and rationales as we thought about, what I don't have anything from you, Nancy, just to say. I mean, I have something from you, but it's not anything, it's not the old charter. Anyway.
It was just
sent on the
Yeah.
20th, Jerry. It's
Huh?
on November 20th.
November
Okay, I'll look
20th, we
again.
sent it as an email.
Yeah.
Do you
Was
have it?
I don't know. I can't find it.
I can forward it to you.
Okay. So, we, I guess, theoretically can put infinitely, an infinite number of things before them. They won't like that. But, I don't see it.
I frankly, I don't know why we're posing a lot of options for them. Let them come up with their options if they don't like what we're doing.
They can.
Because what we'd be doing is not what we voted for, so I just,
Well, we're not, I mean, we did vote for that in concept, but
right.
if it's likely that that is not a reasonable proposal, then
Well, that's according
Why
to the town
wouldn't-
council,
why-
and they're gonna wanna just keep the
but it
power.
wouldn't hurt to offer another suggestion that meets some of the goals that we've discussed. So
Like?
during our discussions, there was a lot of thought to an advisory board where you had different stakeholders coming together, as opposed to just reverting back to the concept of a budget committee that we've always had. So there was discussion of that and thoughts related to that. The idea of having the budget committee be more involved in the general financial aspects of the town and deeper understanding of all of that, researching what other towns are doing, fees that they charge for certain things, different revenue streams that we might be missing. The idea of it being a 12-month committee, that makes a lot of sense. It's a concept. So I guess what I'm saying is I wouldn't want to give up on a concept that we believe in just because we use language that I think automatically shuts down some people's thinking.
I thought we were going to be using both, that it was going to be, that they would be the one presenting the budget, but the town council and school committee have a right to present their own budgets.
I don't
And in
think we ever
addition,
got
they're
that
going
Yeah,
to.
deep
Details,
to
yeah.
So that's, so,
describe that.
just to answer both of you, we never actually took up the issue as was allowed in the charter prior was
No.
that the town council and or the school committee could submit their own budgets before the voters.
I thought we
based
did
on-
vote on that.
No, we never got to a
Did we
vote.
have two votes?
I can't remember
Not
honestly.
that complete.
We did.
But Diane, to your point,
Nancy Mello
can we come
voted
up with
for
a
that one.
different
She did not vote for the.
recommendation for what happens
We
with
had
the
two
budget committee or
motions.
the budget process in general? Absolutely. I mean, I'm all ears in that regard. To that point as well, it's occurred to me at times, like the budget committee, maybe what the budget committee should be, would be like 2 council members, 2 school committee
That's what I was
members,
thinking.
2 community members,
Here it is.
and the
Motion to
treasurer.
allow.
Right.
You
That
know,
would've
that would make a lot of
That's
sense.
what I'm
Oh, God, yeah.
That one also
You know,
passed, and Nancy
and then
Mello voted for that.
Like
one.
a
You've got-
unified
And then we had a
board
discussion
Right.
on the
that
schedule for the
represents
budget process
the
move forward.
perspectives and the needs of different stakeholders around us.
Analysis.
That's the public input. So if you think about if in this, you know, what you said makes sense to me, but if it were a town council member, the town administrator, the treasurer, a school committee member, and 3 elected people from the town, now you've got a broad representation of the town making those decisions. So
Making what decisions?
On the budget.
So what we're just talking about is a different formulation of the budget committee altogether, which would be to take membership from the school committee, membership from the town council, maybe the treasurer, maybe the town administrator, and or the superintendent. I don't know if you would want to clog up their day already, which is pretty busy enough, or something else. I don't know that you know the free range of the mind.
But just
Come
all
up
of
with a
those
concept.
voices
But
together
I
at the
think
table
one of the-
coming to agreement on a budget to put forward to taxpayers.
Well, that is assuming that you give them that authority, and that's part of the issue is nobody wants to do that work. Well, I don't know. You can say that nobody wants to do that work. We are presuming, so we're presuming a couple things. One is that the reason why people won't run for the budget committees because they have no authority. It doesn't mean anything when all the work that they do. I don't know, you know, I've not done polling to figure out if that's the case. It seems likely to me though.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. So the other is that their proposal passed in 2022, passed because people, I guess, disliked the budget committee or disliked that process.
And didn't
I
like
will-
3 different budgets to vote on, even
Well,
going
and
back
that's
to
what I'm
that.
gonna, that's my argument, is actually people voted, and I was one of them, for that proposal because they really detested the fact that you could put a budget up with only 50 signatures and no accountability whatsoever for actually
The petitioner budget.
the petitioner's budget.
Yeah, and
I hated the petitioner's
another
budget.
thing that I heard was that every year it was drama and divisive chaos
Yes.
across the town, whereas other communities, they come up with the budget, it goes before the town or the committee that approves it. And, you know, yes, there are some years where there would be some dispute over it, but every single year they were just tired of that. They wanted a cleaner, more efficient process. And even if that meant giving up some public input and, you know, people
No,
were
that
just
was-
tired of the politics of it and just wanted
Right.
a better process.
And,
I think
and
what-
to that point as well, I agree with you, and that was in part why I voted for it. But I expected a bit more objectivity and for the
And more
council,
public input.
more public input, and frankly for the council to sit not as the town council, but as the adopters of the budget. I just haven't seen that in the last
No.
3 cycles.
And I think we have to remember historically, when you look at Tiverton, we moved here during the
Can't say I
time
wasn't involved.
with the, what was it called, the financial town
Hearing,
meeting.
Town meeting, financial town meeting.
And that was horrendous.
Yes.
Horrendous.
Mhm.
And so that's why the town council at that time formed that financial town meeting changes advisory committee that Jeff Karen and I chaired. And our goal was to determine, was there another way to establish the budget? And so we talked to a zillion people and we did a lot of work. And we came up with the biggest objection people had, remembering sitting in the gym and the school teachers would come, and if a parent stood up to speak about, you know, more funding to the schools, the teachers were taking pictures of the parents wandering around in their red, remember that? I mean, it was, people
Or
hated
conversely,
it.
teachers were
People
harassed by
hated it. Yeah,
parents
but
and
they
No,
hated
it was-
that.
No.
Maybe
So
that's
the
just
big
not
thing that
effective, it was
people
not
wanted
civic.
was the privacy of a voting booth. That was the biggest thing, where they could
Yeah.
walk in the privacy of the polling booth, and nobody would know who they voted for, or what, you know, why. And that, people really did value that. And the other thing I think we're forgetting is that the Budget Committee is an elected body. So they are elected to represent the electorate. I mean, they're not in there to represent anyone except the electorate. And people forget that. And if they are not doing what the electorate want, they're not going to get elected in next time.
Well, that's true of any of the elected positions in town, except we've weakened the authority of the budget committee. Again, this is a hypothesis, it's not proven. But I think most people would agree
Yeah.
that you weaken the authority of the budget committee, that nobody really wants to do it. But there have been years when we only had 7 people running for town council. And, you know, actually one of the elections I ran in for school committee, I was uncontested. Thank God. The other 2 was really hotly contested. So it's nice to run uncontested, but it's not the best thing for democracy.
So,
And actually, just one other thing we talked about was, okay, they can, you don't touch the process right now, other than the calendar, but you make a provision for an override, that if you get a certain number of signatures, you can, you know, nullify the budget that the council adopts and either raise it or lower it.
But is
They
it?
probably won't like that.
So
anyway.
I'm really confused. I don't get, so we as a committee had a majority vote to have the budget committee be the primary put forward.
Yep.
So how can we ignore that and now say, but if you decide to keep the power,
I mean, the Charter Review Committee?
yeah.
We haven't. We're still putting that concept forward, but we
Oh,
can also offer them alternative concepts.
Yeah, I think that's.
An
Jerry's point,
alternative would be
Diane's
if you
point.
don't buy this, we
You can
very strongly.
Constitute a school, you could sort of say, okay, if you don't want an elected budget committee to now have the authority to be the authority that adopts the unified budget, what do you think about this idea? You have a budget committee that, again, meets 12 months, it's got responsibility for forecasting, and it's going to be made up of, again, 2 school committee members, 2 town council members, and,
The administrator.
3 elected, I mean, you can sort of pick who you want to be on
do
it.
the budget. Yeah.
I would be a little reluctant to put either the superintendent or the town administrator on that committee because their jobs are too busy and it's part of their job performance to fight for that budget for their
Oh, yeah,
particular
definitely not.
area. So it would be a conflict as opposed to the others who are elected, or if the treasurer is now appointed, they're a little bit more objective. They're not trying to create, they're not responsible for the budgets of all the other departments, which is what the town administrator is, or in the case of the superintendent, responsible for the budget of all the schools and the contracts.
So
like that.
Jerry, is what you're thinking of is instead of their remedy, which is that petitioner thing, which is meaningless. It's so burdensome. It's
Well,
not
they've
gonna happen.
obviated the capacity of
Correct.
anybody to put on a petitioner's budget.
So as part of that argument, say, to think about having a provision where there's an override that isn't so burdensome.
I'm just saying, if the town council were disinclined, which I think they are, to change the budget process and give authority back to the budget committee, we can offer them as many alternatives as we have time to think of them. Other ways of modifying the budget process, and in particular, the role of the budget committee, which again, nobody seems to really want to be on. And maybe up to and including, giving them this other job, but changing nothing, constituting it differently, membership from the 2 other, the 2 main bodies that have large budgets, plus the treasurer, plus maybe a couple of elected members. Again, as many concepts as we want to think about can be put in front of them. They can not adopt them or adopt them. They can not even discuss them or discuss them. One would hope that they would actually at least discuss everything we put forward.
So last week, we had 3 motions. One was the budget committee was going to have the ability to put forward the budget. The second one was that the school committee and the town council would have the opportunity to present a budget. And the third was that we were changing the timeline. There's
Right.
no reason we can't create a 4th option here.
Or 6
Where, to
minutes.
Diane's point of budget committee / finance committee, if a motion were made and we agreed in a
Yep.
majority, then someone could prepare that. Is there an interest in that?
So
Do I hear
I'll
a
tell you
motion?
where, can I add
Go
something?
ahead, yes, absolutely.
So, just as a matter of history, because I really feel very strongly about this. So when we were on the charter review back in 2018, we did what we've done here. We had everybody, and we talked to everybody, except the one body who refused to come before us, didn't offer one opinion, was the town council. Did not come. We heard 0. We went before them with our final proposals, and I think it was at that meeting, or maybe before, John had Baby Edwards, we call him. Baby Edwards, one thing that he gave us was just delete the whole budget process. Delete, what article is it, 4 or 3, whatever it is.
Three, yeah.
Delete 3, and town council does it, but he didn't ask for our opinion. He didn't ask for any discussion about it. And guess what exactly happened? And there was no conversation, and COVID hit, and, you know, so I don't have a lot of sympathy for helping them figure out what they're going to be comfortable with.
But the thing is that they won't figure it out. They'll
Why not?
just say, because
Why
they're
not?
happy with the current process.
And so they're not going to, end of story, period.
So-
They're not going to change it.
Correct, so maybe everything that we're discussing as far as budget is moot because it's not gonna be,
But that doesn't
Received
mean
and
we did
embraced.
take a vote, and I think let them turn it down, but
well, I
they're not.
agree.
Yeah.
We've taken a vote, and so
Yeah.
there will be something put forward, giving the budget committee the right to
And frankly, then
submit the
it's a
budget.
political issue that we
Yeah,
talk
and if,
about at
I
the
think
next election.
if it gets, what we've discussed and whatnot, gets out there, because it's going to be presented at a town council meeting that is open to the public.
Correct.
And if
And-
there are people there hearing what the charter commission is saying, this is what we feel the town needs as far as a budget planning
Yes.
group, so that we get a budget that is good for the whole town.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
And
And frankly,
The
I think
ship
what
to the
was
town
gonna
council.
end up happening when the elections come this year, it'll be
Yeah.
a political issue.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be a huge political issue, and
Yeah.
I'd like to keep it that.
So is there,
I don't want to help them.
is there anything that we could do, thinking of our overall goals, is to change the elector budget process as it's written now? And the issue of it happening after the budget is approved, which again delays the whole process.
Say that again?
So, a couple of things that we haven't discussed is, will the budget committee or the school committee have an opportunity to propose their own budget?
We voted yes.
Yes, we did.
We did vote.
We did vote on that.
So then, the other piece is an elector budget. Are we going to recommend that we stay with the current process?
That it exists now? No, it's absolutely prohibitive.
Yeah.
Right, so,
It's 300 signatures?
but we have and the timeline is,
Like
It's not-
2 weeks.
yeah.
right, so do we have a recommendation for changes to that?
Can we just remove an elector cannot?
Or,
yeah.
or would the recommendation be, rather than the elector petition, with the idea of an override
Yeah,
petition?
Which would take place when?
Well, it would have to be after the vote.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's what you would bump into
Right,
is
how many days after
and you could fashion it in such a way to say it could only increase the adopted budget, so that would sort of like get you around the June 1st deadline. It would still have to be before June 30th because by state law, you have to adopt a budget by then. I don't think that there's a easy way to build an override into the system right now.
I agree. Could an elector, just if we give the school committee and the budget committee an opportunity to also put a budget forward, could at that same time, could an elector put a budget forward?
That's an interesting idea.
So it's all done together.
Well, what's the threshold for an elector to be able to put one forward?
This one
300, I
is
think.
300 qualified electors in
That's
the
the
town.
current
So-
situation.
Yeah.
What about this? Again, talking about sort of like as many ideas as we can come up with. You could, you know how like in the prior charter, the school committee and the town council could put their own budget on the ballot without any, signature requirement, anything like that. Why not? Town council still gets to adopt the unified budget. So does budget committee. So that people did have choice between what the budget committee adopted and what the town council
Or what
adopted.
if, along those lines, budget committee puts forward a budget, recommended budget. If the town council chooses not to approve it, they could put forward their own
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
budget
Yeah.
for a vote, and school committee could put forward their own budget, and electorate could put forward. Not that people don't like those multiple budgets, but now you'd have the original budget committee budget, whatever the town council might want to change, school committee. So, but it would be, the standard would be that hopefully the town council would appreciate all of the work of the unified
It
budget
would put
committee.
a brake on them, yeah.
What I'm a little confused, you get a unified budget, which includes all the departments, the town council, but now you're allowing the school committee to present
So-
its own, but there it is,
So-
it's
so
part of
the-
the town council budget, it's part of the
Correct.
unified budget. So if electors vote on the school committee, the school budget, don't they, what happens to the rest of the town?
So it was always, at least in my reading of the charter previously, it was ambiguous exactly what that provision meant. You would think that what it means is that if the budget committee adopts a budget that is different, that the school department or the town council, because either of them had it. So let's use the town council, because everybody always thinks I'm representing the school committee, which I am not. So if the town council disagreed with what was put on the ballot by the budget committee, this is the old charter.
Yeah,
The budget committee says the municipal budget is $30 million. It's actually not even close to that. Say $20 million.
we just use it.
$20 million,
just doesn't-
right?
yeah.
So, but the town council felt strongly and had originally proposed a budget of $21 million. In the old charter, they could put on their own budget. Now, what wasn't specified was, well, do they at the same time put on their own budget for the school committee or vice versa? That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And also the question was, could the school committee or the town council put on a budget different from what they submitted as their final adopted budget
Right.
when they made the recommendation to the budget committee to begin with? The interpretation of the solicitor at the time, because I asked him, was they could not modify it.
Right.
It had to be the budget that they adopted. Was like sometime in January.
Yeah.
That they couldn't cut it, and that was actually part of the reason why Sally Black and I put on a petitioner's budget one year, was
Yeah.
because we wanted to actually reduce the amount that the school committee was going to put on the budget, and we know how that went. So that it was ambiguous.
Yeah.
If you went this way, where the budget committee makes a recommendation to the town council ultimately adopts a unified budget, that's what goes on the ballot. You can also confer on the budget committee the authority to also put a budget on the ballot, and I can't remember, did we vote to revive the capacity for the town council and or the school committee to put on their own budget?
Yes.
Yes.
We
That
did
was the
do
second
that.
vote.
Okay, that's what I thought we did. All right. So now you've got potentially 4 different budgets from different entities within the town. You can say that's ugly. It is ugly, but it's actually democracy. And you also still have there is still the ability for a petitioner to put on a budget. They just have a much higher threshold now. and I can't remember how much time they have. They don't
They
have a
had
lot.
300
days.
signatures in 10 days
10
after
days.
the, yeah.
Which, you know, you can do, having collected plenty of signatures, you can do it, but you have to have a pretty broad team to do it.
Yeah.
The other, so then now you potentially got, well, you always have, you know, you've got potentially as many budgets as there are electors, because every single one of us could put on our own budget.
Yeah.
And interestingly, do you remember in here that as it reads now, the budget committee is given the information from the town administrator
Yeah,
to propose their own unified budget
yeah,
and language necessary to implement it on or before April 25th.
right.
And it's not till number 7 where the town council is now
Right.
told they
So-
will adopt it, but it's after that, it's May
Well,
13th.
Well, they have to adopt a preliminary, the town council has to adopt a preliminary unified budget. And what that means is
That's
that.
on or before May 13th.
Right, correct, right.
Yeah.
And the problem there is that if they don't adopt it, I mean, let me go back to what I was saying. So that if there is more than, you know, 2 budgets on a given ballot, one of them has to win outright with a majority, or it goes to a runoff on the 2
Yep.
highest. To your point about the May 13th thing, so this is what backs us into
Right.
June 1st.
Right.
Because they adopt the unified June 13th, then there's 10 days for the petitioner.
Correct.
If there's no petitioner budget, then they can adopt it. But if they don't adopt it by June 1st, you have to do all the layoffs. Because right now, they don't have the final unified budget. They don't have to adopt the final unified budget until June 30th. So if they go past that June 1st date and adopting it, in 2023, they adopted it early so that we didn't have to do layoffs.
Why not just move the town council date up?
Well, we had
Well, that's a
proposed
whole-
April 15th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is that was the other thing that we, you know, the other conceptual thing was the calendar.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Yeah, but the whole process impacts the calendar depending on who's doing what at what time,
correct.
so.
But if you don't, but if they don't adopt any of this stuff, and that's, you know, once the council adopts what they're gonna adopt or not adopt what they're gonna adopt, then it's to the solicitor or some worthy person to fashion the language of the ballot so that it achieves the desired outcome.
Yeah.
So what if we, sticking with the vote that we took, what if we made a suggestion, or as we're describing the revisioning of the budget committee, that the budget committee include a member from the school committee, a member from the town council, the town treasurer?
You can, I mean, we can, again, if someone wants to make the motion, they can make the motion that we put that also as a concept before the
I make a
town
motion that we
council.
do. I think that would,
But the vote we took last week still stands, and
Mhm.
they both go
Right.
forward, is I guess my point.
yeah.
And in
'cause I think
addition
it's-
to that recommendation, we recommend that the composition of the budget committee be changed to include a member of the school
School
committee,
committee.
a member of
And
town
town council.
council, and the town treasurer.
Why are you doing that? Why are
To
you
get,
doing
to
that?
get more voices at the table and get people to stop working in silos. So that was part of the whole issue too. You had a budget committee over here.
But their
that in some
functions are-
years it did work well, but to have this group working in a silo and then the town council, you know, having their own thoughts on what the budget should be, and the school committee working in a silo and making a presentation and hoping that it gets accepted, why not have those
Working
voices at the
together.
table for ongoing discussion and dialogue and better understanding of each other's components of the budget?
Yeah, I would,
Well,
I
let
think
me-
that's
let me
certainly
go back.
something that
We have a
could-
motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Jerry?
I would, suggest having 2 members from each body, because then you've got 5, and then you can have 2 public members.
Can you frame that motion for me so I can
And what
write
are
it
they
down?
gonna be, what are they doing?
What are they doing?
What is it?
They're coming up with the budget.
That the budget committee should consist of 2 school committee members, 2 town council members, the treasurer,
2 elected.
and 2 elected people, 2 electors.
Who, the budget committee's an elected committee.
Right, so now you're changing it though.
Yeah.
We can change it
We can
to,
change it.
members appointed to or voted on by their respective membership.
So, all right, the budget committee consists of 2 school committee, 2 town council, 2 the treasurer, and 2 electors.
Yes.
For their whole term?
For the,
And that's, yeah, I'm gonna ask.
Jerry, that's for the whole term, right? Yes.
And it's a 4-year term, as it is
Well, it'd be
currently.
4 years.
Budget
4 years.
committee.
So presumably you would, and this would, they might have to write policy around it, but, so anybody who's designated by the school committee, say, or the town council to act on their behalf, they get elected, like they chair, primarily it's the chair and the vice chair.
They're assigned.
So they get, just as you elect a chair, a president of the town council, you would elect a member of the town council to serve on the budget committee. Those elections happen every 2 years, irrespective of the term of the individual members of the body, because the bodies themselves change every 2 years, even though the term may be 4 years, the composition changes, or people are re-elected to those positions, even if the composition itself, in terms of the
And so
individual.
people are going to be on the town council and on the budget committee?
That is what you're basically
Yeah.
And
saying.
people are going to be on the school committee and the
And on the
budget
budget
committee?
committee. Correct.
That's crazy.
I have the members identified. Is there, is that all we want to do this motion?
I would say do one thing at a time by
Yeah.
motions.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have the motion by Ellie, second by Jerry. And this will change the budget committee to consist of 2 school committee members, 2 town council members, a treasurer, and 2 electors.
And they're all going to be elected by the people?
No, the serving counselors, school committee member, and the treasurer, by virtue of their position, they will be assigned from whatever body they're part of. The 2 electors are going to be the people elected,
It would,
unless that's, I misunderstood.
no,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it as, if I'm on town council, I've been assigned to a subcommittee that is
Yeah.
focused on,
Yeah.
maybe it's the Unified Budget Committee, I don't know. But same thing for school committee, they often have subcommittees where they
Right.
do additional work other than their monthly meeting.
Correct.
Okay, so,
And the minute you have a subcommittee
Yeah.
that's appointed by the town council or the school committee, their first obligation is to the town council. By
Well,
definition,
and that-
they're
that's why
advisory.
hopefully
They
we
Yeah.
wouldn't be-
provide some
yeah,
balance.
No, I
they
mean-
wouldn't be-
If you want to get it's your oath of office is to the town. It's actually not to the schools, if you will. It's everybody's supposed to be acting in the best interest of the town in general. So
If,
So,
whatever. I'm not-
right now, what I have is that there's the members of the budget committee. And it's this motion. Is that what we want
Yes.
to cut it off at that point and we'll vote on that? That will change the membership to reflect what I just described?
yep.
Yes.
All right, then I'll ask for a show of hands. All in favor? All opposed? I don't really care. In that particular aspect, but I think that I'm gonna vote in favor. And only my, the point I want to make is that we need to figure out what this is going to do.
Is there any problem in waiting until we have, like, Rob's here and Donna and Nancy?
Nancy, I don't disagree, but that's been our issue all along. We keep postponing things and waiting
I
until we have
understand
more
that, but
members.
whatever.
And again, these are just things we're putting before the council.
Yeah.
They can take them up or not.
And truthfully, if there were a revisit at the next meeting,
Yeah.
could we?
Yeah, we can talk
So-
about, yeah.
Have we
At our
gotten
next
through all
meeting,
of
we
the
can-
things we need to
we can-
wordsmith, and do we want to talk any more about budget committee? Just because I've got can't stay much past 7:40.
Okay, can we, I'm sorry, so could we just finalize the idea of the electors' budget, the ability, so we talked about the ability of the school committee, so that whole process, what does that look like?
So again, you would have to be framed, it's basically restoring what we thought was in the charter beforehand. I can take that up as, I can do that,
Yeah.
wordsmithing of that as well.
All right, Jerry, do you want me to take the town council thing from you, since this budget's going to be kind of a...
Yes, why don't you do that? I'm gonna,
Wait, so what are you taking?
All right, I'm going to do changing town council from 2 to 4 years.
Oh, okay.
I think
is there interest in giving the budget committee, although actually it's be kind of weird. Well, actually it's different, so it can be a separate thing. Is there interest in also suggesting to the town council that they get the budget committee the authority to put their budget, a unified budget, on the ballot?
I thought they were doing that.
Yeah.
No, the
What
budget
did we
committee,
just
no.
vote on?
What we just voted on was the membership of the budget committee.
To
So-
come up with a unified budget, right?
Well, last week we
Correct.
voted that the
Yeah.
budget committee would put forward
For
a
the
budget.
budget, yeah.
Now,
I would also go in the first position was a note that...
So-
I'm not following.
So in the event that the budget committee, unified budget, is challenged, is that what it would be?
so let me kind of go back. So first of all, we're putting things before them that are potentially inconsistent if they actually adopted all of them. So one of them would be,
Well, I would want our first choice that we're putting before them.
Correct.
The first vote we took,
right,
before we
but,
start messing it
but
up.
our votes are not binding on anybody.
I understand.
So,
Well,
so
I
we're just,
disagree, but I.
well, okay, but we're just putting things before them. So one thing would be, if we change the composition of the budget committee to 2 members of the school committee, 2 members of the town council, treasurer, and 2 electors, and we then also brought forward this idea that the budget committee itself could put a budget on the ballot, you're kind of giving the members who are sitting on the budget committee from those 2 bodies kind of 2 bites of the apple, right? That's not necessarily an inconsistency. What I'm proposing is, if we gave the budget committee, however it is constituted, the ability to put their adopted unified budget on the ballot, if that was identical to the unified budget that the town council adopted, then there's no point, right? This would be if it is substantially changed by the town council, then the budget committee has that authority to put the same, their unified budget on the ballot. And in fact, that gives the voters the choice.
So you're saying, I like that better than this mishy stuff you guys just voted on.
And, again,
Why
these
not
are
just be, if they don't let the budget committee have the first, that they still want to keep their first position, and they vote it down, but then we have that the school committee and the budget committee then get to put it on.
So all of these are concepts
Yeah.
that they can or
Yeah.
cannot adopt. So again, it was sort of, I guess the thing that's got me thinking about all of this is Diane was bringing up the idea that, maybe we should give them some other options, because I don't think that they're going to be too happy about giving up the authority that they have now of being the ones that adopt the unified budget. So this is just giving more entities the
I think it would be really
opportunity to-
important when we do meet with them, that the reason we are putting forward that we did that extra step and thought about some more options for them is that we are very concerned with the amount of power that they have,
Right.
and that they don't include the public in.
And they're
And-
getting more power if we extend
Right.
their terms to
Right.
4 years.
So we're looking for our first choice is our first choice, but there are other ways that will also disperse some and negate some of the power that they take.
Well, we haven't actually, as a body, prioritized the recommendations. We've just taken votes. And we could do that, next week and say, this is our first choice.
Okay.
If they're even interested in that, and this is our second choice. But I'm gonna make a motion, I guess, that another concept we put before them is that the budget committee, the adopted unified budget of the budget committee be allowed on the ballot if the budget committee exercises, that right.
And they have it under 6.
Not right now, they don't.
Yeah, they
The
do.
budget committee?
Yeah.
Not
Number
on the
6.
ballot.
The budget
It's not on
committee
the
shall
ballot.
prepare and submit to the town council their proposed unified budget.
Right.
So
And
it's
then it
just,
doesn't
here you
say
go,
what it
here's
happens to
Here's our
it.
budget.
But
The-
it doesn't,
Public
Then-
doesn't have a chance to vote on that budget.
The only entity that votes on the unified budget submitted by the budget committee is the town council. The voters don't.
that doesn't even say they have any obligation to do that. But anyway.
Not in that
Well,
part,
that's-
but they
that's-
do.
So that's another thing for us to consider. Do we all agree that the approval of a budget should be on the ballot and not just town council approving a
Well,
budget?
it,
And I'm not saying that that's wrong, that
The
that if
proposed
the process
unified,
is right,
the
that
proposed unified
It's-
budget of the budget committee
doesn't-
also goes on the ballot.
it doesn't,
That the proposed unified budget of the budget committee is also on the
it's
ballot.
not on
Where does
the
it say
ballot.
that?
It doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right, so that's what we're giving the budget committee the authority to do.
Yeah.
Right now, there isn't a vote of the voters if there is no other alternative.
Correct.
The only alternative that can be put forward now to
It's the petitioners.
is the petitioner's budget. So that's, the argument for doing it this way when they adopted it was that we spend $15,000 or whatever it was. I don't think it was quite that much. But it was, you're spending a lot of money printing up a lot of
Right,
ballots.
and not a lot of people were showing up.
Well, people didn't show up when there was no alternative ballot or budget.
Right, what's the
When there
point?
was only one budget on the ballot, as there oftentimes was, they still had to have the election by the charter. So, yeah, you're right. It would be,
So would
one person would show up and vote for it and it passed.
So if the town council remains the body that approves the budget, then if they do not accept the budget committee's unified budget, then it would go to referendum?
Only if
No,
the
I
budget
think-
committee wanted to put their budget on the ballot.
Okay.
Or there was an or, again, the school, let's say that they adopt all of this stuff. And again, details of what actually ends up in the charter would have to be worked out by the solicitor and then be on
I
the
would
ballot
say
itself.
that-
So the thing about, so you would only have an election if the town council adopted a unified budget and the school department, the budget committee, and no elector put forward an alternative budget. This is basically allowing others to put on alternative budgets.
So not.
In the case of the budget committee, a body that actually spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out the budget.
Yep.
Can I ask, you've got a motion that
Yeah.
the adopt the unified budget of the budget committee be placed on the ballot. Is there a second?
I second it.
Second.
Okay.
All right, you can give it to
Ellie.
Nancy.
Be
All right.
placed on the ballot.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
it goes to referendum.
No. not
No, if the
referendum.
budget committee decides that they want to pass it on the
If the
ballot.
budget committee
More or less the
decides.
same way that the town council and the
Yeah.
school committee can put their own
Okay.
budget on. Again, all of these
So it's
would
not a
have,
given, it's an option.
it's an
Yeah.
option.
So should the motion be that the adopted unified budget of the budget committee be placed on the ballot at their discretion?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yep,
at the budget committee's discretion,
yeah,
not the town
Clarify that.
council's
Good.
discretion.
yeah.
BC.
At the budget committee.
Discretion. Okay. Is there any more discussion, or are we prepared to vote?
Yep.
Yep.
Call for vote. All in favor? Unanimous.
And I will take that as an assignment for the,
Yeah.
Keep at it, Jerry. At this point, we've covered the items that I had on the list. I'm going to just scoot back. I wish we had the display here. So the draft discussion, I'm working off the 1118 draft. Di, is that what you're on? Have you been updating this?
The 1118, a little bit, yeah, but
This
nothing,
one?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm just going to go through this and make sure that we covered the topics we want to. Section 301 is just the yellow highlighted. What is that? The yellow.
That is just for discussion.
So section 301.
So I'm gonna unhighlight that, Mike, because
All right, thank you.
it's a little minor, like, what does that really mean?
Section 301, Part B, has a number of housekeeping corrections. There's capitalization, syntax, etc.
Some change to the timeline.
And there's a change to the timeline.
That's what Jerry's doing, right?
Jerry he's going to work on that. So, all right, so we're working on that part. As I scroll through the different subsections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't see anything aside from the changes for the time frame that we need to go any further. Just some cleaning up of some language, public hearing instead of meeting. Yeah. What section are we in? Subsection 10. You highlighting that right now? Removing that?
Section 302, that,
No, the one above that, that you could highlight.
yeah, the red, yeah, I'm taking that out.
Okay. So 302, the budget referendum, elector budget referendum. What is this? All we have in there is housekeeping at this point. 303, Board of Campuses certifications is housekeeping. 304 was a significant amount of strike through. That is going to be discussion based on what Jerry puts together
Yeah,
for the different.
I'm gonna unstrike that, that was
Okay.
just as we were talking about what we
Same for
might do.
305 and
with that.
306. 307 is untouched. 308, 309 is untouched. 310, unreserved general fund. It's just, looks like it's only housekeeping. 401, town organization. Nonpartisan town council, this is going to be the item I'm taking, the term of 4 years, staggered. As discussed, I'll put the details together for next week. 502, town administrator, the qualifications section is struck with the candidates must satisfy minimum qualifications established by the town council. That wasn't anything that I discussed yesterday. And it's a little bit more than a housekeeping kind of thing, do you think?
This is 402.
502.
I'm sorry, 502.
Town town administrator.
So I think it's the idea or concept that we shouldn't be listing qualifications within the charter for positions because those qualifications may change based on,
I had written in next to 502, replace with candidates must
Right.
satisfy minimum requirements as established by the town council.
Yeah, so that is the discussions that we had, that was what everybody seemed to be in agreement. But that becomes a section of its own, I guess, to present. Do you disagree? Should we?
yeah, we can do that, and that's where we can mention
I don't-
housekeeping across other sections that reference any qualifications. Because we have the note, this language should be used for any other position in the charter that lists
Okay.
qualifications.
So do you want to take on that one?
Yeah.
All right, 502 and related sections.
I really have to leave, and I think you lose your quorum as a result.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so,
I'm sorry.
it's all right.
You didn't ride your bike, did you?
No.
Okay.
Budget committee, we're almost through the
Where do
planning
you live,
board.
Jerry?
That was the thing.
Down in Adamsville, it's down 81.
Only
like-
we'll
Down in
finalize that.
Yeah, Stony Hollow Road.
Town planner.
Oh.
Like right below
town
East
planner,
Street.
I have the
The,
town planner.
Zoning board of review is Mike Marcello's corrections, the 107 personnel board, some housekeeping, and
So Jerry, are you going to do budget committee also, the composition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
school committees,
budget.
housekeeping,
The
and
target on our back.
elections. And that's the charter. Is there any other discussion?
Well, I have a question on the vote that you guys took, which I didn't vote for. If you're assigning people to the budget committee, do they still run as a 7-member committee? So you're
No,
adding
you don't
people
leave
to it?
electors.
No, just 2 electeds.
Yeah, the appointed people from the committee.
And that
Yep.
becomes the new budget committee?
Right, they would have to be
It's really
elected.
just this composite of,
Wouldn't it need to be 3, so you have 7? You have
2 treasurer.
Oh, the treasurer, okay.
Or not, I mean, they're gonna do with it whatever they
Yeah.
wanna do with it.
True.
Yeah. Okay, any other,
Nope, is there anything else that I can do, Mike, in the meantime? I mean, I could generate a small list of examples of house cleaning, housekeeping things that they might consider.
Yes.
I could review the language of that letter that we had, that I had sent a draft of previously, and
I have something I want to tell
frame
you
this in
off
a
camera.
written way, but
He's
have
gonna
it be
do that.
conceptual, just how do you organize, here's what we're going to present tonight, and in addition, here are some typos, housekeeping tasks for the committee to consider.
I think that's a great idea, and you able to have that prepared prior to the next meeting? Then you've got it.
Okay,
You own that one.
all right, I'll just kind
Congratulations.
of give a framework of what's going to be discussed.
Okay. Anything further?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, Nancy, second Jerry. All in favor? That's a big 4.